thank you for joining in my talk titled Getting Most Out of Your Logs at the 3 a.m. So before we begin the talk, let's introduce myself to you guys. So I am Shyamkumar Kalariya, working at the software engineer at Zenduty, an incident management platform which helps teams to respond to an incident and resolve it quickly. So I have several years of experience in the software development. And today I'm excited to share insight on effective logging practices to help you resolve the issue quickly and efficiently. So let's start the talk. So what we are gonna discuss in this talk? So we'll be discussing what and why of the logging, why it's important, what are the common logging scenarios which needs to be logged, and what are the common mistakes people usually do while implementation and logging, and what are the logging best practices you can follow. And at the end, once you have the better logging implementation, how log can be useful at the 3M in the current situation, we'll discuss about that at the later part. Yeah, so let's start. So first basics, we'll start with the basics. So we'll start by what is logging. So logging is the act, it's a kind of act of capturing and storing an event messages or event generated by an application during its operation. So it's kind of like it gives you traces like what has happened during the operation of the application, what all things, what all event has occurred. Yeah. Then the next one is why logging is very important. So like you know what is the logging and why it's important. So logging is important in the scenarios like when you're troubleshooting the ongoing production issues, and so all you like Muzo and the on-call engineer, all you know what how the crunch situation, how is frustrating situation is to be in debugging at the night or like any at any situation. Then you like logging helps you in the monitoring the application health and performance, how the particular endpoints, how the application responding to a particular request. And then it's useful in the security auditing. So security, it's kind of like necessary to all the online systems. So it helps you to keep compliant to the auditings and the security, like who can access what. And then it helps you to understand the user behavior, like how users are using your application, how it's growing, so you can optimize it, or you can plan it better way to improve the user experience. Yeah. So as I mentioned, like troubleshooting a produce you in the night or at the any even given time when there is any ongoing production. So logs are the only source of truth which tell you what has happened during the particular request, what are the what are the operations or what are the function ran, and which code has been request like which code is executed by the request. So it's really helpful. You'll get the better idea what has happened and what then. So yeah. Then monitoring the application health, as I like mentioned earlier, like it tells you the efficiency, or it tells you how effectively your particular your system is working. So what are the latencies, what are the like P99, which is like 99 percentile of your response time, like that. So you can monitor like what was before and what was after the you optimize it. And security auditing, it's a very critical part of any online applications. Then yeah, so now once we know like why logging is important, we'll start about what is the what are the components consist of on the logging framework, what are the components are there, and then we'll go and see how we can implement it and what are the common logging scenarios. Yeah. So in the logging framework, there are like main four components: logger, handlers, filters, and formatters. So loggers is kind of like the entry point of the log which captures the log. Which captures the log event, and then then handlers comes into the picture, which is responsible to sending that particular log event to its destination. So handlers can be like there are multiple kind of handlers, like a file handler, stream handler, which writes to the particular stream or file, Then comes to the filters, which filter out the event. So you can filter out the particular event. Say, let's say if it is the error event, then you might need to fill for some more contextual data. Then filters can be useful. Or if you don't need particular type of event, then you can filter out at the filter server itself. It won't go till the log file. Then formatter, so formatter at the end, it formats all the log data to a proper structure, which what are the required by you. Let's say you want the log data in the JSON, so it will convert the raw data format into the JSON format data. This is what the sample or demo framework of the logging, where what are the Python program or what are the language you are using. It generates the log message, comes to the logger, then comes to the file ender, which will write the logs to the file. Then it will goes to filter, which filter out the particular events as per your logic, as per your need. Then goes to the formatter, which will format the particular in the particular format, and then it will write to the login file. Yeah. So now move ahead. Once we know the what is logging and what is the logging framework, we'll move ahead with the what are the common logging scenarios. So as we discussed, what are the what for what are the purposes you can using the logging. So based on that, we'll log the event, particular event. So if you want to troubleshooting or debugging, if for debugging purpose, you log like a this particular event has happened. So it's in the example as I showed, logger.debugger, this is the debugging message where you write your appropriate message at a appropriate time, uh, based on the what are the function it's in. Then you write the logger for a error handling, where uh, you are expecting some error or exception in the particular code block. Then you put it under the try and catch. Then in the catch, or in the when you catch the error, you write up a log saying that this operation has been failed, and then you attach the particular contextual information. So at the time of debugging, it can be useful. And the other is a performance monitoring. So where you want to monitor a particular endpoint, a particular function blocks, performs for the particular function block. You write the start time, then perform a particular operation, and then put an end time and log that particular start time and end time. So you'll get to know how much time it's taking to perform a particular code block. And the other thing is security auditing. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a very important to maintain the security compliance and all this. So where you monitor this particular user is logged in from this particular user, IP address, or this specific user has performed a particular action. So by with the logging, security auditing logging, you adapt to the compliance, and you can while auditing, you can properly show them which users have done what all things. Yeah. So now we know the what are the common logging scenarios. We'll move on to the common logging mistakes. So this is in this particular point we are gonna talk about what are the basic or what are the common logging mistakes like a developer or what are who's are implementing the logging does. So one of the biggest mistakes is ignoring the context with the log message. So while you write the message logging said the this operation has failed, you while a implementation, when you are in that frame of mind, which you know the logic, you know the what this function is about, you tends to miss the context of the data. Generally things it's a very common issue. It's a generic message. Anyone can understand what's this message about. But once you it's into production, once you after 10-15 days, or some after some time, when you start debugging that particular issue, you don't know what is this message for which request is linked to what which user has faced particular this issue. It's just logging, it's just taking up your storage. this log is kind of no useful without the contextual data. So yeah, people generally tends to like not giving the proper contextual data, then this log is of no use. Then other thing is like setting a not setting a proper log level. So while writing the logging, generally like what it feels like, you write the all the logs with the same log level, like as I mentioned in the example, like all the log I write and write as an error. So it can be confusing. Like it's a debugging event, or it's like a particular operation has been successfully completed. There should be info or debugging. It shouldn't be like error. Otherwise, it will create the confusion while debugging the particular issue, because you are getting the multiple events as a error log. So you want, like, you can't filter out the particular error events. And the other thing is like by mistake, without the contextual data, you market the particular log as a like warning, but it should be a error. So that is also happen. So while like what like code review or a peer review, someone like needs to point out that, or developer has to keep in mind all the contextual operation has been performed before and after that particular code block, and write the logging uh, level as a proper logging level. Yeah, one another mistake generally people do is they the publicly log with the contextual data, but that contextual data are the unstructured data. So what do I mean? The unstructured data is like in the some log they have the like a particular let's say function name, user ID, and IP address, but in the very next or in the later part of the code, they tend to miss that particular info in that or in the other place. Let's say in the example, when I'm writing the log for the first operation, I am mentioning the function name, user ID, and IP in the log context. Then in the second operation, I'm mentioning the file name and then line number in the message. I'm not mentioning the IP or user ID there in the second. So it can be misleading unstructured data. So like whenever I am be, let's say I want to find what are the operation performed by the user ID 1. So when I search with the user ID 1, I'll get only the operation 1. I won't get the operation 2, because there is no user ID field in the on log. So kind of unstructured data, you won't get the all the events or all the operation performed at the particular user ID, or what are the as per your requirement. So logging should be in the structured way. All the details should be there in the all the place. Uh, Value mismatch for a same case. So this is also kind of like a repetitive mistakes that generally found out while logging. So let's say in the example, I have the proper contextual data like with the proper key, but in the value of that particular key, type of that value is different. So let's say in the line key value in the first operation is 15 in the integer, but in the second and 15 is in the string. And similarly, in the data, the first log has the dictionary or a JSON value, but in the later, like in the second operation, it's the string value. So, what's wrong in this is like whenever like whatever the software you are using, what are the open source application or what are the things you are using for visualization code will reject the second record stating that it's not the appropriate like appropriate type of value. So in the some record is coming as an integer, some record is coming as a string. So it will tend to reject the mismatched type of logs. So you like while visualizing or while fetching out the logs, this particular entry is found there in our like list of logs, and it's kind of misleading that you tend to think that this particular code block is like particular request hasn't touched this particular code block. So which is kind of not true. So while logging, be careful about the value type of type of the value. And now since we have like discussed what are the common logging like mistakes, like we'll see what are the best practices so you don't miss out any logs. So I will like first decide what to log. So you decide what's the proper necessary or message which someone else can make sense. So generally people write the like vague messages like request successful, operation failed. It should be writing the proper logging message so someone else can make sense out of that message and they can get the idea what has happened wrong or what has happened successfully like that. And include all the necessary metadata. So in the necessary metadata, meaning like contextual data, what's the function name, where this particular error occurred, the line number, and what is the exact error occurred, and or like what's the username, what's the like user's username who's like making this particular request, what's this IP address and all these things. So you can get the best out of the logs. And I recommend to use one trace ID or any correlation ID. So whenever you write a log for that particular request, include the trace ID to all the logs during that request cycle. So like whenever you want to fetch what are events happened during that request cycle, you just need to get the trace ID. And once you search with the trace ID, you'll get the list of all the events for that particular request. So that the correlation key, it's kind of very useful because it will help you correlate the metrics log. So in observability, there are like it consists of three main things: metrics, logs, and traces. Right. So it's and if you are have the microservice architecture, then it's very much useful to correlate the or to get the traces of the particular request, like which all microservices went and what are the operation happen in particular microservices. Then you can link those events and get the most details out of that particular event. And then it's like as we talk about like include all the necessary data or include more data. It's not like you will include all this data which is you already access. So you need to decide what are the data needs to be logged, what's not needs to be logged. In logging the data, like just keep in mind that you don't log the PII data, which is like a credit card number, someone's like a ID, password, something like PII data. So just keep in mind you don't log the some like PII data. And while writing, define the proper log with the like just keeping in mind the contextual place of that particular code block. And then as we discuss like why like how people are keeping a structure like a log with unstructured. So keep the structure of the log defined and stick to them. So you include all the necessary details what you have like decided to have all the places. So it will be easy for you to like debug the configuration. And what are the benefit of the structure logging? So like once you have the structure logging, you can better visualize the all the events, how many. So you can better like visualizations and like in the time frame or particular like 1 hour, 2 hour, how many events are occurred, how many like you can make the line graph, histogram or heat map, done it like that. So you'll get the a better visualization. Once you have the better visualization and the proper logging, you can see the logs pattern and you can set the proper alerting on top of the particular logs. So like you can set alertings. Let's say alerts me if particular events happen in the particular time frame. It so like you'll get to know if particular events are failing continuously, then you'll get to know why it's failing and how you can debug and fix it as soon as possible. And as you are getting the timely alert, you have the proper logging, your incident response time will be quicker. You will be able to handle the incident quickly and efficiently. And proper logging, it doesn't only like enables or help tech team to deal issue with fastly, but it also improves the collaboration with the other teams. Let's say the growth or business team wants to know how many events are occurring like in the particular time frame. So let's say I'll give you example of my company. So as I mentioned, like we are the incident management tool. So it's kind of useful for us to know like how many incidents are getting created in 1 hour or 130 minutes, how many incidents are getting created for a particular user or particular customer. So, and we can publish this data to the sales or growth team to look out for, and from there they can make their analytical decisions and how to go forward, how to run campaign, or what are the other things they can watch out for based on the particular metrics. Yeah. And then what are then after that, once we have the structured data, then we need to decide what are the scenarios you gonna log. So it's not like you are gonna log each and every scenarios with the each and every method. It's kind of like information order. There are it's too log or too many logs. It's also a very like a bad thing because you will be get lost, in while debugging from those logs. So decide what are the scenarios you're gonna log. So in the example, as I said, like whenever you are making the request, like just for example, when I'm like making a request, I'm catching the timeout error and writing the appropriate message for that particular error. Then in the second, I'm accepting the connection error and then writing the particular message for that particular error. So instead of this, I can do it like try catch the all the errors in the single like exception, and I can log the all I can log the message like request failed with the data. So that particular time, like I couldn't get to know why request failed. So instead of writing like this, and one of like what I recommend, it's like uh, don't don't try to catch the like a blanket exception. See what the code block about, then try to think of all the exceptions that that particular code that can occur in that particular code block, and then catch each individually, write the appropriate message. And if you don't know what can go wrong in that particular code block, it's better to leave it. Don't catch that particular exception, let it fail, let your application monitoring uh, uh, generate an incident and let you know this particular things went wrong, and then you come and fix the particular issue. Otherwise, once you write the blanket exception, you don't know what is going wrong in particular situation, and you kind of overlook the uh, potential bug or something which impact your company technically or financially. Anything can be possible. Yeah. So, and one of the one of the most important is like how you storing the logs. So log storage is also one of the important thing, because like it shouldn't be too less or too much. So let's say you are storing a log for 7 days, or like past 7 days or past 10 days. There might be the if you need like past 15-20 days of data, then you need to restore uh, uh, and restore the older logs. And in that situation, just uh, keep in mind of the log retention period as per your requirement, how like how many past days of data you need at a time. And then once you after that particular time period, move it to cold storage, so it will help to save the cost as well. And then at the in search like at the what are the keys, or what are the where like what are the information you are using to search a particular log, just make a note out of that and add the indexing of that particular information on that particular key, so the searching will be a faster, and take the backup of the data, so like you don't lose the data in case of any disaster. So, and alerting, now we have the logging, proper logging setup. You can set up the alert rules. You can set up the alerting for a particular event. So, like, let's say event A occurred 10-15 times, then you will get you will get the on-call engineer will be notified for that particular alert, saying that this event is on that particular event is getting failed or in error while performing particular operation, so they can see and quickly fix the issue. And then once you have the login, you can better visualize it. Once you have a better visualization out of it, you can write the alert for anomaly detection. Let's say usually your traffic is like 30-40 requests per second, and and then suddenly, and there's some particular point of time there are 150-200 requests per second, then it's kind of anomaly. So there might be out of due to the DDoS someone is doing on your website. So at that particular time you can set up anomaly detection alert rules, which based on your requirement, and then it helps you to reduce the alert fatigue. So let's say you are like you keep the threshold as a 50 requests per second, and then your application is grown well, you are onboarding more customers and all these things, then your request now generally your request like 50-60 requests per second, then you can update the threshold, and because it's general, it's not the out of the DDoS you are getting 50-60 requests. So at that time you can update the threshold, and you can get the proper alerting. And now we have the like a proper alerting setup with the proper logging, with the proper contextual data and the proper visualization. How it can be useful at the 3M. So mostly once you have the proper logging structure and all the visualization are there, most of the scenarios which you anticipate can go wrong, you visualize it properly, so you get the idea of the situation, or get to know like why it's happening from the visualization itself. You don't need to go to logs and search it for each and every request. And so basically you can find the anomaly from right the visualization itself. If particular errors occurred out like no out of your expected error boundary, let's say like you are not expecting particular error, or you want to debug a specific request, and then you can use this trace ID and status in the log. So as I mentioned previously, trace ID or a correlation ID, you should log as part of contextual data in the every log. So let's say you want to log a particular request, what all happened during the request cycle and what like where it went wrong and all these things. You can get the trace ID of that particular request and search it in your application log, and you will get all the events related to that particular trace ID, and then you get to know what went wrong. So this is the example I'm drawing. So in the one of our thing, we verify the contact number by sending the OTP. So in we have logged all the events has occurred. So let's from the start where API invoked, then whether need to be verified or not, whether its number is already verified, whether the user is in the block list or not due to some issue with the telecom provider, and then we check with the telecom provider what's the price into sending messages or phone calls to that particular number, whether this particular country is allowed from our side or from the network provider side, and then once all the checks pass, we send the OTP verification code. So from this kind of login, you'll get to know what all the events happen successfully, and like if something goes wrong, then we could have logged it like this particular checks failed, not sending the or no, not sending the OTP verification log. So then when the customer comes and says I'm not getting the verification code, then we quickly check that particular request, and then we can tell them like why it's like what are the like checks is failing and what needs to be done from their side or for our side, or based on that we can reach out to network provider if it's failing from their side. Yeah. And as we have the like a logging setup and too many logs are firing and storing in the storage, like it can be if you have too many logs, you can get lost in the all the logs. So what generally like in the big organization do, they run the two parallel stream, one for the info log and one for the debugger level logs. So in the info log consists of the info, warning and critical error logs, and debugger logs holds all the logs with the debugging level of verbosity. So like generally developer has access to info logs, and the debug level have access like debug log access to the SRE or DevOps guys or some who's managing the operation. So like when the issue comes, developer tries to debug with the info log. If that particular if is not make the most sense out of that, then they ask for a debugger access and to get the like to fix the issue or to get to know what is the issue. And similarly, this is example shows like you can write the particular log level in the particular file, or you can write the logger based on your module. So it's up to you how you want to like how you want to log and yeah. But be careful, you don't get lost in the logs. Don't log every information. Don't log like each and every event, but log what are the necessary events. Yeah. And how you can achieve this particular logging. So there are like many applications are available, let's say like New Relic, uh, and Datadog, all open telemetry, all are there. And you can use any one of them. They have their own pros and cons. And I have listed the three most useful used open source applications. One ELK, which consists of three open source tools: Elasticsearch, Logsearch, Kibana. EFK, which is like instead of Logsearch, you are using the Fluentd, and the grafana loki. So what is EFK? So Elasticsearch, Fluentd and Kibana. So Elasticsearch is the log storage and where you can search the particular things quickly. Fluentd is the log collector and collects the log and push it to the Elasticsearch. And Kibana on top of can visualize the logs, and you can it's kind of will provide you the visual UI or visualization on top of your logs. The form and Loki is also the same. So there are only the like components are changing. So instead of fluent bit or you are using Promtail here, then Loki as a log collector and the grafana as a visualization and the alerter. And you can also use the alert manager to set up the alert on top of it. Yeah. So that's and from my side. So hope you'll get the idea how to set up a proper logging and how it can be useful during your crunch situation. So yeah, if you have any question, do let me know. As I shown my LinkedIn QR code on in my home slide, you can connect with me and we can go from there. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for being around for during my talk. Yeah. Thank you.